What's up YouTube? I'm Yajji and today I'm bringing you guys tips on how to make it into Platinum if you're stuck below that rank. But before I get into the mistakes people make and the reason why you're stuck at Plat, I noticed that a lot of people tend to blame their teammates. And I understand sometimes you'll get horrible teammates that don't communicate with the team and pick non-meta heroes. We're not going to be focusing on that because that's something we have no control over. Instead, we're going to be focusing on things that actually do matter and things you can actually change. I want you guys to try and notice when you make these mistakes in game, because the more you notice them as they happen, the more likely you are not to make the same mistake over and over again. So let's get into it. There are things you can control in a game and things that you can't. The reason why Grandmaster players and top 500 players are where they are is because they focus on the things they do have control over, rather than aspects of the game they don't. Meaning, when they pick a hero, they're not concerned with what their teammates are doing. Instead, they're more focused on what they're meant to be doing. Everybody has games where their teammates throw, but the enemy team has an equal chance of getting a thrower too. So let's assume each team has a thrower now. How you react to these situations will dictate whether you win a game or not. If you're distracted by the thrower and complain and try to get him to change or whatever, you're more likely to lose the game because you're more focused on the thrower than the actual game itself. This is pretty simple stuff, but it's easy to get caught up in the moment, especially when you're pissed off and angry that you've gotten one of those shit teammates. But like I said, this happens to everyone. But anyway, let's move on to the actual video where I lay out the problems that I've been seeing in people that are ranked in gold. So when I was playing the ranks of gold, I noticed that people don't seem to have target prioritization, which means they don't focus on the targets that matter the most, as well as taking advantage of the targets that are out of position in that moment. A lot of the times I see people tunnel visioning or not looking around enough. This whole game that I was playing Mercy in, I only died twice. Not because of the enemy team seeking me out and taking initiative to kill me, but because I made a couple of mistakes. When I was in their sights, they ignored me and tried to kill the people I was healing rather than killing the source of the healing. Remember, you should be trying to kill people who are out of position and unaware. Capitalize on the mistakes people make rather than trying to make a big play or just going off on your own. And trust me, people make a lot of mistakes at the lower ranks. I mean, look at this Mercy gameplay. I am standing relatively still, not moving around too much because people just don't look around, and I don't have to be moving as much to keep myself alive. So as a damage dealer, you want to be looking around and notice the people at low health so you can finish them off. Try flanking from different sides so they don't have anywhere to retreat to. Just keep the pressure on the enemy. Just remember to not overcommit. And if you're playing a support, make sure you're playing it safe. Don't put yourself in danger for your team. Just heal while positioning yourself behind your team, because as you guys will notice in this game, people don't come after you if you don't position yourself badly. So, step 1 is target prioritization. Kill the targets in bad positions. Don't go out of your way to kill targets that are in a good position, because you'll most likely end up dying. Now, the second problem I noticed in gold ranks is that people tend to overextend and overcommit. It happened a couple of times this game, and you'll notice here that the Reinhardt decides to charge in out of line of sight against the Mei, and that's just poor decision making, and he ended up dying there, forcing a res from me, which in hindsight I should have held, but that's not what we're focusing on here. Reinhardt put himself in a position that didn't make any sense. Instead, he should have waited for the enemy team to come out and attack us, where he has his whole team to back him up, especially when we're the ones defending. The only time where it's okay to go a little bit further and commit all the way is when they have a few members down and you're trying to split the respawn timers. So that right there is number 2, overextending. Easy fix, just try to notice it when you do it. I had a horrible problem with this when I first started playing Overwatch, and then my friends started to point out that we lost a ton of games because of me, and I quickly got rid of it because I wanted to win. So pretty simple fix, hardest part is just noticing it. Let's move on to number 3. Expanding your hero pool. I noticed when I was queuing up in the lower ranks that people didn't seem to switch as much, and they didn't counterpick as often. Counterpicking, in my opinion, is more important than picking meta picks. People at this rank have a very limited hero pool, and if you learn to play more and more heroes, the chances of you climbing out of gold will be much higher since people won't have the necessary hero pool to counter your counter picks. Having 1 to 3 heroes from any category helps you be a versatile player, and that's extremely important because as we all know, we'll get into a game where people don't want to switch the roles up. So you're gonna have to be the person that knows how to play all roles, so you have the ability to fill and have a better lineup. When I first started playing Overwatch, I got placed in rank 46. Back then we didn't have plat, gold, or diamond. Instead it was just numbers, and I think that equates to platinum rank. And back then I stuck to playing 3 heroes, and those 3 heroes were Hanzo, Mei, and Zarya. And it wasn't until after I expanded my hero pool did I start climbing up the ranks. And the reason why this happened is because the more heroes I played, the more I knew how to counter them, because it's not only after you play those heroes that you learn their weaknesses. Not only that, but you also gain the ability to pick more situational heroes. Heroes like Torbjorn, and Torbjorn works extremely well on Hanamura for defending the first point. A lot of lower ranked players do not know the strengths and untapped potential of some of these heroes when it comes to maps. Some heroes have a better advantage on some maps than others, and Torbjorn excels on Hanamura for the first point. But the way I expanded my hero pool was by picking heroes I wouldn't normally have played, heroes that I thought I didn't like. And it turns out that I actually enjoyed playing those heroes, and one of those heroes happened to be Mei, and I'm also a Hanzo main, so as you can see I gravitate towards the more salt-inducing heroes. So just go out there and try a bunch of different heroes that you've never tried before in quick play, and then try them out in competitive once you get comfortable. You'll never know how you perform until you try. There isn't really much to getting out of gold specifically. It's really basic stuff, and there are other things you can work on while you're in gold, but I've already made a video about that and you guys can check it out. At the end of this video, it focuses on positioning, awareness, and decision making, and I think that focusing on those 3 aspects of the game will get you to masters alone. So these tips are for people who want to take the smaller steps to getting out of their current rank, whereas the other video was focused on getting to masters. Well, that's it for this video. For those of you who don't know, a friend and I just started a new channel related to Overwatch where we discuss topics we find interesting. You can check that out in the description below. But that's it for now, and as usual, I'll see you guys next time.